Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at a mod called the 45-degree challenge, which is quite possibly the largest vehicle mod I have ever seen. Has a pretty lengthy description, so let's go ahead and read that. The 45-degree challenge. The concept is simple. You have to test the power and grip of the vehicles of your choice and make it climb to the top from a height of 56 meters, which I have no idea how big that is. Is that like 120 liters of water? I don't know. But thankfully it also says, oh, it's 184 feet. It's even more fun with a trailer and testing different weights to perform a multitude of tests. And then it says who it was made by, and I will probably just mispronounce the name, so let's not even try, and instead let's take this thing out, and oh my goodness. Yeah, it's big. Honestly, can you name a mod vehicle or prop or anything like that that's bigger than this? Because I can't. That thing is huge, and it's also in the completely wrong spot. So the easiest way to place this thing where you want it, let me show you what you do. First, you get a car that's really good at getting to the location you want to place things. So let's say, for example, I wanted to put it at the end of this drag strip. So you do a nice quarter-mile race, and then you fly into the ramp. So what you do is you drive to about where you'd want it, and then you drive a bit more. And that bit more is important because wherever you are is going to be about the middle of the ramp. So if I wanted it to be like right at the end of the quarter-mile race, probably right about here would be close. And then the direction of the ramp, whichever direction you point, that's going to be the low side of the ramp, and the back side of your vehicle is going to be the high side. So we have to rotate it 180 degrees to make sure we're going in the right direction with the ramp. And then we'll go ahead and spawn it up and see how that does. That is pretty close to what I wanted to do. And you notice, even though the car looked like it was straight, you can see it wasn't quite straight because the difference in gap from the right side and the left side is noticeable. It's just, this thing is so big, those small differences become very easily noticeable. Now here's one problem. When you spawn this up, there's a big fat barrier here that you'll just crash into. So you're probably going to also need to lower it a little bit. So you hit F11 to go into the map editor. Then you're just going to click the giant ramp, and then you just bring it down to the ground a little bit. At this point, you can also adjust the location. Like I want it to be a little bit more centered with the road. We can do that. And then that ramp is ready to go. Except, I want another one right next to it. So I'm going to repeat this process, and I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, we now have two ramps set up over here. And then over here, we have a car that is ready to go. Except, it's not going to be just one car. We're going to do a drag race. Me versus the drag version of the Moonhawk. That should be fine. You get to watch them driving out in their all so scary drag car. In the future ones, if I do more of these, I'll definitely turn off the animation. But it's always worth watching it for the first one, right? There they are, ready to race. And this actually should be a close race because I can get off the line much better than the AI can. The AI kind of sucks at doing that. Alright, here we are racing towards the ramps. I had a pretty decent launch. This car does bog down a little bit because it doesn't have a transmission perfectly set up for drag racing. And then they have more power than me, so they will win, but not by much. And you can see I'm actually flying through the air right now. This is going to be interesting. How well will the suspension cope going up the ramp? It's doing a decent job, actually. I guess the stiffness is probably helping out a little bit. Uh-oh, what is the AI doing? They're bailing out. Oh, no. Well, it's just me left on the ramp, and I am flying through the air. We took off of that thing at over 100 miles per hour, so we should go a pretty decent distance. And then here comes the big hit. Everything about the car is completely broken. The wheels are broken, the front's broken, the engine's broken. How'd the AI do? They bailed out early, so they're not that badly damaged, but they're dumb. So they're just driving into a wall. They did lose a wheel, so maybe they can't steer. I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and do that again, though. Change up the vehicle a little bit. This time, I want to get a drag car. I want to be as fast as I can possibly be. So we got the drag version of the Blue Buck, and we'll just race the Moonhawk again. That's a fine race, but I'm turning the camera off because we don't need to see that multiple times, especially when they're driving out the same vehicle. That's just boring. If they're driving out another vehicle, maybe. And here we are. That was not a good launch by me, but that's okay because I'm more focused on the top speed at the end of the strip, and a bad launch doesn't affect that too badly. So we are going 170 when we hit the jump and 8 seconds in the quarter mile. AI is a little bit slower. And then let's see, how is this thing faring? Ooh, that looks nice. That thing looks really nice when the suspension dips like that. I love that. Oh, right there, that's perfect. Like, just for a second, that thing looked so nice, but now it's not gonna look very nice anymore. It's gonna look completely ruined. But man, for those few seconds, that thing looked stunning. And it should hold up decently since it has a roll cage. Yeah, there is some shape to it. Oh, look at the way the frame bent. The whole car is like lifted up on its frame. That is cool. As you'd expect though, everything else is ruined. How is the AI doing? They bailed out early. They got some damage, but they're not too bad. Now, where's my car again? That frame damage is crazy, man. But now, how about we try the exact opposite? We'll go with a very regular pedestrian vehicle. This version of the Corvette is so pedestrian, I don't even know what version I picked. I just know it's in the middle of the range, so it should be very basic and average. So how can it fare against a Barstow with an inline-6 engine? This race is another one where I have no idea who's actually going to win. I think my car might be a little bit faster, but again, I don't actually know what Corvette this is. So here we go. Oh, off the line. They get a little bit better of a launch than me because they got rear-wheel drive, but I think I got a little more power, and yep, there we go, pulling away. So this thing is not very fast, though. We're going to do the whole quarter mile, and we're only going to be going about 80 miles per hour. Will that be enough to climb the ramp? Let's see. We hit it at about 85 miles per hour. At 17 seconds, yes, this is a very ordinary car, and it will just barely clear the jump. Anything slower than that, and it would not have made it, I'm pretty sure. That is like the bare minimum speed you can go is probably 80 miles per hour. And on this one, I'm using some slow-mo, because I think this is a cool-looking crash, the way it's kind of rolling forward, and then land on the wheels. Can it drive it all? Nope, it's done. You know, though, it kind of has a cool shape to it. Like, the slope of the rear actually looks kind of nice from that angle. I don't know, it's just cool. Yeah, they got stuck in who knows where. I don't know what they're doing in between the ramps or something. Forget about them. Back to me. Last thing we want to try with the slow cars. We're going to do the pickle versus the ramps. And then for the AI, I'll give them something fast. I don't really care. How about the base model Legrand, which I know is going to be way faster than me. I do not stand a chance in this race. I just want to see, can this car make it up the ramp? I'm thinking it's too slow. It doesn't have a chance. Only way to know for certain is to do a test, though. We are off. And we actually out-launched them thanks to my rear engine configuration. I'm really able to launch good with the rear-wheel drive, but I don't got the power, man. They got more power than me. They are taking off on me. And we're only going to do the quarter mile at like 60 miles per hour. This is going to be going very, very slow. So let's see. Will it be enough? I know 60 miles per hour is very, very slow. Well, in video games, it is, okay? Oh, it's close. Come on. Come on. Don't bail on me. Oh, no. It almost made it. If we were going like 70, we probably would have made it. So yeah, 70 to 80 miles per hour is the bare minimum depending on what vehicle you have. This one's a little bit lighter weight, so you can probably get away with a 70 mile per hour run. Good luck getting enough room for that, though. How'd you do? You got destroyed. Thank you. There's at least some damage from that. Now, done with the slow cars. Time for the fast ones. And we already did a drag car, so what's faster than that? How about the hero version of the bus? Because this thing has a massive trap speed with the rockets, so it can really hit that jump hard. For the AI, we'll be twins. We both get a hero version of the bus to fly off of the ramp. It's going to be great. Although I don't actually know if the AI will use the rockets properly. Well, we'll find out. Oh, look at them. They're trying to intimidate me. Well, they distracted me. They had a way better launch than me. You know what I think it is? The AI always just floors it. They don't rev up the engines. With the rockets, you don't have to rev them up. So they get a perfect launch compared to normal. They easily beat me there, but we are trap speeds of about 170 miles per hour. That's about the same as the drag cars, but we could keep accelerating in the air. Oh, don't bail out on me, other bus. Don't you bail on me. Keep flying. Accelerate. That actually worked. I like shoved them so they would fly farther. Now I'm just going to go and fly off into the distance. Now I'm going to keep accelerating while I'm in the air to make it fly faster and farther for the best possible crash. This is going to be a huge crash. I don't want to mess this up. This is one of those ones where the camera's going to shift all over the place because we're going so fast. So we get the camera separate, get it a little bit closer, and then let's just admire this at 100 times slow motion. The big crash. You just slowly see the whole bus, its shape gradually transforming into something that doesn't really look like a bus anymore. But it still has a beautiful cape. The cape is unfazed. And it's funny, when it gets crushed this hard, it kind of makes me think of like a sprite in an old video game. If you don't know what a sprite is, it's basically like, in old video games, they didn't have 3D models. They just had 2D pictures. And sometimes those 2D pictures would want to be at like a 45-degree angle of a vehicle. That's what that looks like to me. A sprite of a vehicle. And now it looks like a sprite of a vehicle wrapped around a tree. So that bus is completely and utterly ruined, just as we would expect. But now, I want to make it even more extreme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the location of the ramp. Right now, it's right at the end of the drag strip because the AI slows down at the end of the race. I don't have to slow down, so I could put the ramp at the end of this road for massive jumps, so I'll be back once it's set up. Ramp has been set up, and also here is the bus that I shoved off the edge. Apparently when I shoved them in the butt, I also made their engine fall out. So they basically pooped their pants in terms of what a bus can do. Now, as for the ramp, it's over there, ready to go. I really fine-tuned it to make it as long as it can possibly be without it being kind of overlapping with the mountain. So it's very, very close to the bushes. They're actually overlapping in some places, but it should work fine. And once again, we are going to do this as a drag race. Me versus another bus. They're going to give up halfway through, I know, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to go all the way with this thing. And we should be going really, really fast at the end here. I'm thinking like 220 miles per hour. We'll hit that jump and we are going to fly. And actually, the AI is just really good at racing the bus because I had a decent launch and we are neck and neck. I won by like 1/10 of a second, if that. Anyways, let's go ahead and hit that ramp. We're going 230, 240, 250. Faster than I expected, maybe just under 250. And I'm not going to use slow-mo on this one. I used slow-mo on the last bus crash, so this is going to happen fast and violently. Here is the violence. And then it's over just like that. And the whole bus has been completely deformed, and it also pooped out its engine. See, buses are one of the few ones that can poop out engines because the engines are in the back. The other ones vomit out their engines. There's a difference. How's this bus look? He's not too bad. Looks better than the last guy the AI drove. Alright, again, big, long, far away ramp, big, fast car. This time, drag version of the Moonhawk. You are up and ready to go. How about you race against another drag car, though? We'll give them the drag version of the Blue Buck. And I don't actually know if they'll use the nitrous or not because I know that does help it go a little bit faster. But either way, I can launch better. I'm going to beat them. Even though I'm in automatic mode, which really actually does hinder my launch a bit, we'll be fine. Just time it good and bye. They're gone. Don't even see them. Maybe they stalled out. This is my win. We're going to be going almost as fast as the bus. It looks like about 220, 230 at the end here. 225, 230, about 230, and there is the flight. And on this one, I think we will use some slow motion. It's going to be another really, really fast one. So how about we use, let's say, 16 times slow-mo. We'll get it real close to the ground. Freeze physics. You get a nice camera angle because we're going so fast it might cause some jitteriness. That looks decent. And then watch, this is going to happen fast. And that is with 16 times slow-mo. Oh no, the car's going to hit the cameraman. Watch out! And the cameraman jumps out of the way at the last second. But that was 16 times slow-mo, and it looked like it was 4 times slow-mo maybe. It was going very fast for that crash. Somehow the engine still does rev up, believe it or not. It's not going to put down power in any way, but it revs up. And it makes a smoke screen so you can't see anything. Turn off the engine a little bit so we can see the damage now. And you can see the whole back end is just completely twisted compared to the front. And the whole rear chassis is ruined. That thing is toast. Those are some really fast tests. How about a nice slow one again? We're going to bring back the pickle. This time we're going to use the police edition, which is a little bit faster, but still a very slow vehicle. I am not going to bother setting up a drag race for this one because it's already going to take so long for it to get to the destination. I'd rather just save the time and floor it the whole way. Also, we got the sirens on, and I really do like the fact that all the sirens sound different depending on what country it's from. This, for example, if I heard in the US, I would never know it's a police car, and I would just think it's some idiot with a dumb-sounding horn. American police cars got good-sounding horns. So here we go. We're reaching the ramp. We're going to be going about 80 miles per hour, so I would assume the base version would probably be going about 70 miles per hour, in which case I don't think it would actually make it. Let's see how well it does going 80 miles per hour. 80, it just barely makes it. 70 would not have made it. That was actually the perfect speed to become king of the mountain, stand on it for a second, and then drive off the edge and ruin the pickle. So I think that's going to cover all of the basic jumping cars off of ramps testing. Now, we're going to move on to jumping ramps onto cars testing. Well, we're going to try to. Because you'll see what happens is when you try to teleport a ramp above a vehicle, you think, yes, this is going to work great, but then the ramp just floats. It doesn't fall. It disobeys gravity, unfortunately, so you can't just, you know, ramp car, not happening. We can, however, still do some leap of death testing. So let's go ahead and head over there. And what we're going to do is we're going to set the ramp right at the edge of leap of death, and then we're going to jump off of it using that ramp. So to set it up, we're going to do the same procedure as before, and it's going to require some map editor movement, because if we were to just spawn it up right here, for example, it would be completely out of position. You think, oh, that's going to be great, but it spawns from the middle, so we're missing some of the ramp. Like, it starts over here at 15. Look at all this ramp down below that's not being used. So I'll be back once it's set up. And also with the angle fixed, because it's way too sloped. Okay, the ramp has been set up, and then we have the rally version of the Vivas, which should be great for this. It can put the power down in the dirt, and it has a lot of power to put down, so it'll hopefully be going fast enough to go off of the ramp all the way. It is a bit of a struggle, but it made it all the way, and now we're going to fly to the bottom. And that's going to do it for this video. If you guys are interested in seeing a sequel to this where we take cars with trailers attached off of the ramp, do leave a comment so I know, because, you know, it was kind of mentioned in the description for the mod. But until next time, this has been WhyBeAre, and remember, if you like or dislike this video, I will know. I can tell by measuring the angle of the ramp. So do the right thing, and I'll see you next time. It's kind of hard to decide if I want to do the other video with the trailers, because it's more the same. But if you like this, well, then you'll also like the trailer. But at the same time, it's like you don't want to get too repetitive with things. You don't want to just be like two videos that are almost the same thing. So it's hard to decide. Also, this outro, I'm letting it run a little bit longer than I normally would, because I want to let the car go all the way to the bottom. And that ends up taking a lot longer than it normally does, because the ramp pushed the car more upwards than it normally would. So it has a lot more bouncing to do as it goes down leap of death, which I did not expect, actually. I figured it would fly farther because it's a bigger ramp, but it slows it down so much that just wasn't the case. So anyways, we are now inside of the water, and that's the real end for this video. I like doing these little after video director note stuff. It's fun.